Let's start with something you don't want to admit. Not to me, not to anyone, and definitely not to yourself. People can read you like an open book. And the worst part, you don't even notice, because you've been reacting your whole life without ever realizing someone else is pulling the strings. Look at your last argument, your last moment of jealousy, your last desperate attempt to be understood. Every time you raised your voice, every time you defended yourself, every time you explained your pain to someone who didn't care, you weren't expressing yourself. You were giving signals, patterns, tells. The world watches your emotions and reactions, and once they see your pattern, you're done. Because in this world, the moment someone can predict you, they can control you. You're no longer a player. You're a piece, a pawn, a tool waiting to be used. That's the part no one tells you. They tell you to be yourself, to open up, to express your feelings. People are opportunistic. They move toward whatever benefits them. They press the buttons that make you dance, and the more readable you are, the easier it is for them to get what they want. This is where Ayanokoji's truth starts hitting like a cold blade. Feel everything. Reveal nothing. People confuse unreadability with emptiness, but unreadability isn't the absence of emotion. It's the presence of control, the kind of control that terrifies people, the kind of control that makes them second-guess their own instincts. Imagine walking into a dark room where everyone's face is seen, except yours. They can see each other's intentions, weaknesses, fears, but your expression is covered in shadow. They can't see your emotions. They can't predict you. That's unreadability. It's not coldness. It's not emotional numbness. It's a weapon. And if you're smart, you learn to sharpen it. Let me ask you something simple. How many times in your life did you lose a job, a friend, a relationship, because you reacted instead of observed? Think about it. Every time you assumed someone cared about your feelings, they didn't save you. They studied you. Ayanokoji understood this from day one. He didn't try to be mysterious. He simply refused to hand his enemies a map to his inner world. Now I want you to notice something. Unreadable people aren't born that way. They're forged in silence. You think unreadability is a performance. No, it's a survival mechanism. A shield built over years of watching people twist others' honesty into leverage. You don't become unreadable because you want to be feared. You become unreadable because you refuse to be broken again. Think of a moment from your past. One you buried deep. Maybe you cried. Maybe you confessed something heavy. Maybe you admitted a fear, a dream, or a weakness. What did they do with it? Some people walked away. Some used it against you. Some changed how they looked at you. This world rewards those who turn their pain into armor, not those who turn it into invitations for sympathy. Unreadable people do something most never realized possible. They build a quiet fortress inside themselves, a place where no one else can enter. Not because they hate the world, but because they finally understand that not everyone deserves access. Not everyone deserves access to your mind. Not everyone should know what makes you angry, jealous, scared, hopeful, insecure. You think honesty builds trust, maybe, but unreadability builds power. Ayanokoji embodies a truth that life eventually beats into anyone who pays attention. People are afraid of uncertainty. The loud man, predictable. The angry man, predictable. The jealous man, predictable. The emotional man, predictable. But the quiet one, the one who listens, calculates, adapts, and reacts only when necessary, that one is dangerous. Because when you remove your tells and your emotional giveaways, you remove the world's ability to anticipate your next move. And when people can't predict you, they can't prepare for you. That's when they fear you. Fear is the silent crown of the unreadable. Unreadability isn't just about survival in social situations. It's about something bigger and more existential. It's about controlling the narrative of your life. Most people are NPCs because they broadcast everything. Their fears, their insecurities, their desires, their intentions. They walk through life as if everyone else has their best interests in mind, as if everyone respects their emotions. But unreadable people, they walk with a different kind of awareness, a darker, sharper one. They know that most relationships and friendships are built on silent power balances, and the one who controls the emotional rhythm controls the relationship. Unreadable people refuse to give anyone access to their emotions. You see, being unreadable is not about playing games. It's about refusing to be played. It's about understanding that the world doesn't reward honesty. It rewards strategy. Ayanokoji's entire worldview revolves around one brutal insight. The moment they know what you feel, you lose leverage. But most people don't understand leverage. They think it's about money, status, power. But the first and most important form of leverage is psychological control. The ability to think silently, feel privately, move quietly. That is leverage. Imagine two warriors entering a battlefield. One is roaring, screaming, flexing his muscles. You know exactly what he wants, to intimidate. You know exactly how he feels, angry, eager, and emotional. The other warrior enters silently, no emotion on his face, no noise, no tells, just a calm, watchful presence. Who would you fear more? People fear the quiet one because silence carries weight, because stillness hides intention, because unreadability hints at something deeper, something dangerous. When you're unreadable, you don't have to prove anything. Your silence does the talking for you. It says, I know something you don't. I see something you missed. I'm ready for a move you haven't even considered. Unreadability forces the world to respect your boundaries. People will call you mysterious. They'll call you distant. They'll call you cold. But pay attention. Those labels aren't insults. They're confessions. They're telling you, I can't figure you out. And that scares me. I can't control you. And that frustrates me. I can't predict you. And that threatens me. And trust me, life is a war. A psychological war fought in every conversation, every relationship, every room you walk into. It's not always loud or violent, but it's a war nonetheless. Unreadable people don't show their weapons. They don't expose their intentions. They don't reveal their wounds. They maneuver through the world like shadows, present but untouchable, visible but unreadable, and the world can sense it. They feel the subtle tightening in their chest when you ignore their provocations. They feel the urge to over-explain themselves because your silence makes them question their own logic. Unreadability isn't passive. It's an active pressure, a silent dominance. It shifts the balance without a single word. It puts you in control without lifting a finger. Unreadable people didn't choose this path. They were pushed onto it by the friend who turned honesty into gossip, by the partner who used vulnerability as leverage. Your emotions can be exploited. Your openness can be invaded. But your silence is untouchable. Silence is your fortress, and inside that fortress, you start to see people differently, sharper, clearer, without the fog of emotion distorting your perception. You notice the inconsistencies in their stories, the intentions behind their compliments, the patterns in their behavior. Unreadability unlocks a kind of perception most people never reach, because the less you reveal, the more you can observe. That's when you realize that most people don't think deeply. They think emotionally. They don't calculate. They react. They don't listen. They wait for their turn to speak. When you stop giving the world access to your inner world, you suddenly see how exposed everyone else is, how predictable and readable they are. You become aware of the invisible strings pulling people's behavior, ego, insecurity, desire, fear, and you start seeing exactly where those strings connect. Unreadability gives you control over yourself, over your impulses and reactions, but it isn't the absence of emotion. It's the separation of emotion from expression. You still feel everything. Fear visits you. Anger whispers to you. Love tempts you. But none of it leaks out. None of it becomes someone else's advantage. Most people project their own instability onto your calm. They call you emotionless because they can't imagine feeling something without expressing it. But unreadable people know something the world forgets. Your emotions are sacred. Not everyone deserves access. Now ask yourself, are you going to keep letting everyone read you? Or are you going to master your emotions and your silence?